Today is day 11 of a handcrafted holiday, and if you guys know any bakers that you need to come up with a gift for, this is the video for you. In today's video, we are creating a gift for all those bakers. I hope you enjoy, and I cannot wait to hear what you guys think. Anytime I'm out thrifting, I always grab all the rolling pins that I find. I am slightly obsessed and I love upcycling them because they add so much to your home decor. Now, if you don't have any that you've thrifted, no worries. You can still find them at the store and still do the exact same upcycle as we did in today's video. My friend that I'm making this for, she's very into the greens, every color really that is in this print. This is vintage wallpaper from Upcycled, and I've had this because when I was folding it, I ended up damaging it. So this is a perfect opportunity for me to use it, and it will be perfect for her gift. The first thing I'm doing is using gypsy green, and we're going to paint those handles. Gypsy green really reminds me of like a vintage green that you see on many of the old rolling pins. What I'm doing here is applying one even coat to both handles. I'm going to let it dry, and then I want to distress it just to make it look even more worn and aged. Next, I'm taking a damp rag and I am just going to wet distress it. So right around the very edges and just on the actual portion of the handle where you grip onto it, I want it to look really worn and aged, like somebody has used this rolling pin for years. So that is what I'm doing to both handles. I'm going to let it dry, and then we're going to come back and we are sealing it with Big Top. So anytime you use DIY paint, you do need to seal it, otherwise you can reactivate the paint, and Big Top is a great solution. Otherwise, any type of poly that you have on hand as well. The first thing I'm going to do is figure out exactly where I need to cut my decoupage paper. I always want to have a little bit of an edge hangover on both ends because once I decoupage it on, I can take my sandpaper and sand off the excess. And then in order to figure out how far around, I am wrapping it, and then wherever the initial piece lands, I'm making a line, and that's where I'm cutting my paper. Now that I have everything marked, I'm using one of my favorite rulers. This is truly meant for quilting. I love it that you can see through it, so I could see right where that end mark was. I also like it because there's multiple lines running through it, so I can always make sure that my ruler is very straight. And now that I have this all measured out, I am going to cut it out with my scissors, and now we can start decoupaging. The first thing that I'm using is liquid patina, which is from DIY. It is definitely my go-to decoupage medium. And typically, you guys, I always paint the underside of whatever I'm applying decoupage paper to white. But this time around, I really want the paper to almost be aged looking and kind of not really pop as much as I normally would want. So I did not paint the base of the rolling pin white. I just left it all natural. And for starters, what I'm doing, just like I normally do, just applying one even coat of the liquid patina, like a starter strip, and then I am working my way around. And once I get it all applied, I go back and I just make sure that I work out any air bubbles or wrinkles, and I apply just another even coat of the liquid patina to the entire outside, and then I'm going to let it dry, and then we'll come back, and that's when I take my sandpaper and I sand off the excess on each of the ends. And that's really how simple this entire upcycle is. The key with sanding is always sand away from your project. So in a downward motion, not towards the paper. So by doing, if you would do it in like an upward motion towards the paper, it could actually rip the paper off the project. By doing it in a downward motion, and you're getting a really nice crisp, clean line, and you're not tearing or ripping the paper. I should also mention that all the products I'm using in today's video you can find on my website at www.sonnetsgardenblooms.com. I didn't want to only give her a rolling pin, so I went back into my stash and I found this breadboard. I've had it there for a while, and the reason it's been there for a little bit is I've been very on the fence on what I wanted to do with it, because I thought it was absolutely beautiful. But on one of the sides, it had a bit of water damage. So there were like some spots, water spots on there. And I thought maybe I could sand it off. But then when I was pulling this whole gift together, I decided I was going to still showcase the backside with that beautiful wood. And then on the front side, I was going to paint it crinoline from DIY Paint. And then we were going to hand stamp something on the front. And I was on the fence also on whether or not I was going to be adding a transfer or not to tie it in with the rolling pins. So here I'm applying 2 even coats of crinoline, letting it dry, and then I am going to wet distress it just to bring back a little bit of that wood. I always like the worn, aged look, and I think this whole gift is going to have that aged, worn look anyway, so it will fit in perfectly. Now that the breadboard is dry, I'm using a damp rig and I am randomly going to just distress here and there all over the board just to bring back a little bit of that wood grain. Once I finish, I'm going to let this dry, and then we're going to come back and we are going to finish this project. Now that it's dry, I grabbed my big top and I start sealing the DIY paint. And then I'm like, oh no, why are you doing this? Because a tip for you all, it is easier to hand stamp on the DIY paint before you seal it. So I had to finish doing this because I already started. It just makes it easier because it's not like a slick surface. It's just a very flat surface when you stamp on it, and it will prevent your stamps from moving, I guess is a good way to put it. So that is a tip for you. Always stamp before you seal on the DIY paint. It still worked out just fine, but it would have made it a little bit easier. So I finished sealing this, and then we're going to hand stamp bakery on here, and I'm going to show you how I did that. Now that the whole board is dry, I am using my set of stamps called Typesetting, and this is by far has always been one of my favorite set of stamps. The reason I love it so much, you guys, is that it has capitals, lowercase, and numbers. and it is a really nice size font. So I am going to lay out the word bakery, and then I'm going to use my thin mount. And I always, when I pick up the letters after I lay them out, I always try to line up the very edge of the thin mount with the very edge of the whatever project I'm picking the letters up off of. So the very edge of the thin mount, I line up with the very edge of the board. That way, when I lay it back down, I know that it's going to be nice and straight because I'm going to line that very edge of the thin mount back with that edge of the board. I'm using IOD's black ink, and I'm applying just a real nice even coat. Actually, I probably should have added a little bit more black ink to this. It was a little dry. You just don't want your ink pad to be overly saturated either. So once I ink it all up, then like I said, I am going to flip it back over and I am going to line that edge up with the board, lay it down, and then the key here is once you lay it, don't move it, and just take your finger and lightly rub over each of the letters so you get a really nice impression. Now in the comments, guys, let me know if I made the wrong decision. I walked away from Redoubt 2. Initially, I grabbed this transfer because I thought it would be a perfect fit to really tie that rolling pin in with this breadboard. But like I said, I walked away because I just decided sometimes simple is better. The next thing that I'm really going to be on the hunt for is a basket. And I love baskets, you guys. I'm always grabbing them, but the breadboard is a bit big and none of my baskets it would fit in. So I just think it would look really cool in a basket with the rolling pin and some other baking accessories to tie this whole gift together. I'm not even a baker, you guys, and I'd like this gift. I love all things rolling pins, breadboards, cutting boards, whatever you want to call it. I love decorating with those. So really, does a person even have to be a baker? Probably not. But the whole theme is baking. So I thought it would be perfect for all your friends that love to bake. And there's a lot of you out there. It is not one of my strong points. I mean, if I had to do it, I would. But do I love to do it? Absolutely not. I am more of a painter, you guys. So anyways, well, I hope you guys are enjoying the 25 days of a handcrafted holiday. I'm having so much fun giving you guys tips and tricks. And watch for tomorrow. It is going to be a short form video, so just be watching for that. And you guys have yourselves a great week. The next long form video or like a video like this will be on Friday. And if you guys are enjoying my channel, definitely hit that subscribe button and then turn on that bell notification. So every Monday and Friday when I do release a video, you'll be notified. And if you're liking the 25 days or just in general, my channel or this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with somebody who you know would love to watch my content. It's definitely how my channel is gonna continue to grow and grow by you guys sharing. All right, well, you have yourselves a great week. I will be going live tonight. I'm thinking Painterly I'm gonna be working with, but Today has been, Mondays are so busy, you guys. So very, very stressful today. But I will get my act together and we'll see you at 6 o'clock for the live. Bye.